Traoré's Special Security Unit and Economic Crimes Unit surrounded the Mineral X headquarters in Ouagadougou's business center. The secrets behind this modern building of glass and steel, located on the country's most prestigious avenue, would now come to light. It was reported that before the operation, some company executives had tried to leave the building with briefcases full of documents, but were stopped by security forces. The most striking moment of the raid was the discovery of a 2-ton Swiss-made safe, hidden behind a special wall in the general manager's office. The safe's existence did not appear in the company's official plans, and it was revealed that the building had undergone structural changes for its installation. Thousands of digital and physical documents were seized from the safe, which was opened by experts. Numerous external storage units were full of documents. The announcement, made after the initial examination by the special commission appointed by the Traoré administration, shocked the international community. The seized documents revealed double accounting records, showing that the company's actual gold production was 40% higher than officially reported. Mineral X had transferred this excess production to France through unregistered channels. The value of this secret production amounted to $8.7 billion in today's currency, which is more than half of Burkina Faso's annual gross domestic product. Among the documents found in the safe were detailed lists of bribe payments made to high-ranking politicians and military officials in previous governments. The company had made regular payments under the guise of consulting fees, and in return had obtained privileges, such as ignoring environmental inspections and securing tax advantages. The fact that the family of a former president was on the payment list caused great outrage in the country. Among the documents from the French company's safe, the most disturbing was related to the presence of uranium and rare earth elements discovered during gold mining activities. The existence of these strategic minerals was hidden from the Burkina Faso government and smuggled to France. The documents contained evidence that this smuggling operation was coordinated with French intelligence. Perhaps the most humane aspect among the documents found in the safe were scientific reports revealing the environmental damage caused by mining activities and their health effects on local people. These reports, prepared by the company itself but hidden from the public, showed that cancer cases in settlements around the mine had risen to 12 times the normal rate. It was documented that cyanide and heavy metals had contaminated groundwater and made agricultural production impossible over a wide area. While hiding this information, the company had tried to maintain its image by making small donations to health centers and local administrations in the affected areas under the name of social responsibility. Among the documents found in the safe were internal correspondence showing that mine collapses reported by the company as accidents were actually the result of deliberate negligence in safety measures. It was revealed that the collapses that had claimed the lives of 347 miners over the last 15 years were a cost optimization strategy. In the correspondence, the cost of safety measures was calculated to be higher than worker compensation, and a strategy of deliberate neglect was followed. In his first assessment of these seized documents, Ibrahim Traoré said, "These documents are concrete evidence not just of a company's corruption, but of how a post-colonial system operates." Traoré stated, "While our country's resources have been systematically looted for decades, our people have been condemned to live in poverty. We will use all our legal rights to correct this injustice." Following this statement, the Traoré administration announced that it had temporarily halted the activities of all foreign mining companies in the country and had launched a comprehensive investigation. The French government approached the incident cautiously. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, "The allegations are serious and concerning, but we are talking about documents that have not yet been verified. We expect an independent examination of the documents and respect for the company's right to defense." However, behind the scenes, it is said that the French government has panicked. It is assessed that the documents related to uranium smuggling could seriously damage France's international reputation. Mineral X, in its brief statement on the matter, said, "We have doubts about the authenticity of the alleged documents. Our company has always acted in accordance with the laws of the countries in which it operates. We reject the allegations and will use our legal rights. However, it is reported that extraordinary meetings are being held at the company's headquarters in Paris, and agreements are being signed with international law and public relations firms for crisis management." The people of Burkina Faso welcomed the halt of the company's operations and the revelation of the documents with enthusiasm. Thousands of people took to the streets in the capital Ouagadougou to support Traoré. For the local people, especially those living in mining regions who had suffered from the company's environmental destruction and unfair practices for years, this development was a moment of justice they had long been waiting for. The local population, who had received almost no economic benefit from the giant mine established in their towns, now began to fight for their rights. In the international arena, the effects of the scandal continued to spread in waves. While the United Nations announced that it had appointed a special rapporteur on the matter, the African Union held an emergency meeting and established a commission to investigate whether similar situations exist in other African countries. Human rights organizations and environmental groups also welcomed the halt of the company's operations and began publishing reports on the practices of similar companies. The financial impact of the scandal was also dramatic. Mineral X's shares lost 43% of their value on the Paris Stock Exchange within 2 days. It was reported that French political elites and banks, which were among the main shareholders of the company, suffered significant losses. Not only Mineral X, but also the shares of other Western mining companies operating on the African continent experienced sharp declines. Investors moved to reduce their positions out of concern that similar scandals might emerge in other companies. It was announced that similar companies' activities were also under review in Burkina Faso's neighbors, Mali, Niger, and Guinea. While the leaders of these countries issued messages of solidarity with Ibrahim Traoré, they announced that they had begun to review mining contracts in their own countries. There is talk of a new wave of economic independence in West Africa. The presence of French companies in the region had long been a subject of debate, but the emergence of concrete evidence added a new dimension to these discussions. Another element that particularly stood out among the documents found in the safe was the intelligence network established by the company to influence political developments in Burkina Faso. The documents showed that the company had put local journalists and civil society leaders on payroll, and that those who reported against the company were blacklisted and threatened. It was documented that the company had established a special crisis management team, and that this team targeted activists who campaigned against the company. The shock effect was created by the inclusion of information related to the murders of 2 environmental activists killed in Burkina Faso in the last decade among the documents. Among the documents found in Mineral X's safe were evidence showing that the company had made secret agreements with Western countries other than France. It was revealed that American and British intelligence services had cooperated with the company in mapping and monitoring valuable mines in Burkina Faso. It was explicitly stated in the documents that this cooperation was carried out to balance China's growing economic presence in Africa. Western countries provided intelligence support to the company while receiving information about strategic minerals in return. Following the scandal, the Ibrahim Traoré administration announced a comprehensive plan to restructure the country's mining sector. According to the plan, all mines in the country will henceforth be operated by joint ventures to be established between the state company and foreign partners. The state's share in these ventures will be at least 55%, and all production will be reported transparently. A social development fund will be established for the local population to receive a greater share of mining activities, and infrastructure and education investments in the regions where the mines are located will be covered by this fund. For the people of Burkina Faso, this scandal meant the finally coming to light of a situation that had long been sensed but could not be proven. The answer to the question of why the country remained poor, despite its rich resources, was now documented. The documents from the safe revealed not only economic exploitation, but also a political and social engineering project. The company and the powers behind it had not only extracted gold, but also tried to shape the country's political and social structure in line with their own interests. Ibrahim Traoré rose to a stronger position in the international arena following this scandal. Other leaders in West Africa praised Traoré's courage and determination. His speech at the African Union meeting was applauded, while many African countries began similar investigations into their own natural resources. Traoré has now become the symbol of the economic independence struggle, not only for Burkina Faso, but for the entire continent. Among the documents found in the safe was a strategic document containing the company's future plans. According to this document, Mineral X was planning to double its production in Burkina Faso within the next 5 years and to obtain the rights to newly discovered mineral deposits. It was also documented that the company had received special financing and diplomatic support from the French government for these expansion plans. The company was aiming to establish a similar structure in neighboring countries, as well as Burkina Faso. A week after the scandal broke, Ibrahim Traoré hosted international press members in Ouagadougou and gave a message to the whole world. These documents are not the story of a single company or a single country. These documents are an example of how modern colonialism works. Africa's resources will now serve Africans. There is no real independence without economic independence. We will write this new page of our history for the welfare of our people. This speech resonated throughout the African continent, and support demonstrations were organized in many African countries where Traoré's posters were carried. After the scandal broke, international media attention turned to Burkina Faso, as respected journalists from around the world flocked to Ouagadougou. Ibrahim Traoré's popularity soared. A global investigative journalism network established a special team to analyze the documents in detail. The team's initial reports revealed that Mineral X's operations were also supported by the French deep state, and that the company was a secret supplier to the French defense industry. It was documented that rare earth elements extracted from Burkina Faso were used in France's most advanced weapon systems. Perhaps the most surprising among the documents found in the safe was related to a large diamond deposit that the company had discovered on its own land but never reported. After discovering the existence of this deposit, the company treated it as a state secret and shared it with French intelligence. According to the plan, this diamond deposit would only be exploited when appropriate political conditions emerged, meaning when a government completely loyal to France came to power. Geological analyses found among the documents indicated that this diamond deposit could be one of the world's largest reserves. In his statement regarding this discovery, Ibrahim Traoré said, "Now we better understand how our country's wealth was hidden, while the people of Burkina Faso lived in poverty." The Traoré government quickly began its own investigations in the region, and initial findings indeed confirmed the existence of a large diamond reserve. International experts noted that if this reserve were exploited, it could make Burkina Faso one of the world's leading diamond producers. This discovery is seen as a great opportunity for the country's economic independence. After the Mineral X scandal came to light, it was noticed that many of the company's top executives had suddenly disappeared. It was reported that the company's operations director, Jean-Pierre Dubois, and financial affairs officer, Marie Lefebvre, had left their homes in France and gone to an unknown location. French authorities said they did not know the whereabouts of these individuals. but some intelligence sources claimed that the executives were being protected by the French Secret Service. Burkina Faso made an official request for the extradition of these individuals and applied to Interpol for a red notice. 2 weeks after the scandal broke, a former security guard of Mineral X made shocking revelations at a press conference in Paris. Pierre Dubois, who worked for the company for 12 years, revealed that the company's security unit not only protected the mine, but also tracked activists and journalists who campaigned against the company. Dubois said, "There was a special unit, and this unit monitored people who were seen as threats to the company, organized smear campaigns, and when necessary, intervened physically." These statements raised new suspicions about who might be the real perpetrators behind some unsolved violent incidents in Burkina Faso for years. Following the scandal, the Ibrahim Traoré administration established a new ministry to regulate all mining activities in the country. This new institution, called the Ministry of National Mineral Resources and Inspection, will oversee all mining activities and ensure the fair sharing of resources. The appointment to head the ministry was notable. Aisha Ouedraogo, a journalist who had investigated Mineral X's irregular activities for many years and had received threats because of this, was appointed as the country's first female mining minister. In her first statement, Ouedraogo said, "I no longer need to dig underground to search for the truth because all the truths have come to light. Now it's time to use these truths for justice and prosperity." Among the documents found in the safe were evidence showing that similar operations were carried out in other African countries outside Burkina Faso. Detailed reports were captured particularly about the activities of French companies in Mali, Niger, Guinea, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to these documents, French companies were working as a network and systematically transferring Africa's natural resources to France. The coordination of this network was provided by a special unit in Paris. Ibrahim Traoré decided to share these documents with the leaders of other African countries and called for a continent-wide investigation. 1 month after the Mineral X scandal broke, the largest civil society organizations in West Africa united to form the Coalition to Reclaim Africa's Resources. This coalition will monitor mining activities in West African countries and defend the rights of local people. The coalition's first action was to organize simultaneous demonstrations